Hello and welcome to Wow News with Vrograg. I'm your news anchor orc, Vrograg Fishslayer, here to bring you all the server news for the week of August 29th, 2023. I am broadcasting from the chilly northern reaches of Everlook because I was called in on special assignment from a powerful turtle deity, but we can get to that later. So, let's get right to the news with top stories. I'm the Orc, and here's the news. While server management has been trying to deal with population woes, with queues reported as big as 5,000, progress on the 1.17 patch, known now as Beyond the Grey Main Wall, has been continued. Just this last weekend, I received a news tip about a sneaky little note that Torta herself let slip in a public channel on Sunday. Now this post was made in Russian, but thanks to modern technology, the new patch does seem to be ready for release. However, it seems that the team is waiting for population problems to subside via the Southeast Asia server before dropping a patch that will no doubt cause even more of a population influx. I went to Accolix for further comment, as any good journalist would. I needed to confirm exciting stories like this, and just when I thought I'd get the scoop on the story, Accolix went and made an announcement confirming it anyway. Still, it is exciting knowing that the patch that this program has been talking about for months is ready for launch. That brings me to our next top story. Just kidding. And there is nothing new about server queues and the handful of server instability issues that have been plaguing those during peak hours. However, a brand new announcement made just yesterday is putting a new spin on the Southeast Asia server progress. From the post, we understand that the translations for the new realm are nearly complete. The new GMs are getting training for support in new languages, and back-end preparations are being finalized. While it's not a release date, it is something. I did press Accolix for more timeline-specific information, and did get it confirmed that there is at least an internal deadline for the new realm to open up. Knowing there is a firm timeline is reassuring, but the last part of the post does bring up more questions as well. The new realm and the older EU realm will both be capped at 10,000 players in order to maintain stability for the new patch. However, in order for the new realm to be successful in light of the 10k server cap, many of the Chinese-speaking players will need to transfer to the new server. While presumably the transfers will be free, how readily the new realm will be adopted is still in question. Furthermore, Turtle EU will no longer support Hanzi when the new realm is released. Hanzi is the series of characters that Chinese-speaking players use to communicate. The implications for Chinese players that might want to remain on the EU server seems dire, though currently the EU server staff is woefully unable to service GM tickets and monitor chat when Hanzi characters are being used. It seems that Wow is headed for a turbulent time. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops. Okay, that does it for top stories. Let's take a look at the auction house trends over at MarketWatch. Welcome to MarketWatch, Wow News' source for all auction house news. Before we get to the stocks, I wanted to announce that Wow News has recently been able to get in touch with the administrator for SuperDuperAuctions.com, the data source for everything we break down in this segment. They have been made aware of the missing data during peak server hours, and we're trying to help facilitate a way with Wow server management to help obtain more data during these peak hours, so all our numbers are as accurate and reliable as possible. Furthermore, in a reply email, the website administrator let slip that they are working on a site overhaul for the page that will offer visuals with crafting recipes for all professions, with potential profits, a line chart in addition to the price heat map, a revamped hope page that will be customizable for an individual user's needs, and a Discord bot for viewing prices as well. There might even be more features to come, but they remain a trade secret. If you at all value the data provided here or on superduperauctions.com, then please consider donating to the administrator for giving us all such a great tool. A link to their donation page will be left in the comments of the video. Now, onto the stocks. Arcane Crystals. Prices steadily grew in 2 weeks, with massive volatility on the 23rd, capping at 53 gold per crystal. This continues a trend of powerful growth that is showing little signs of flagging thus far. Black Lotus. Prices fell 8% in 2 weeks, with more signs of volatility on the 23rd reaching 29 gold, which settled down to the 23 gold mark more recently. Though the price has risen since months ago, this is the first real downturn we've seen in a while. Cured Rugged Hide remained mostly flat recently, in 2 weeks only coming down about 1%. Historically, it's difficult to know if this price will hold with so many wild swings. Grom's Blood. A heavy lowering of prices occurred in the last 2 weeks, down nearly 20%. It is hard to say where the price for the herb will finally stop declining. Since we've been keeping record, the prices keep getting lower and lower. Large Brilliant Shards showed some upward momentum in the last weeks, trading at times well above 4 gold. This is the first demonstrable upward trend to hit this good since we've been keeping track of prices. Mooncloth traded almost exactly even in the 2-week chart. Though there were periodic swings up and down, the recent upswings were enough to make an uptick in the history graph, which still remains on a downward trajectory though. Stone Scale Eel fell slightly, though it has mostly been trading between 40 and 60 silver in the last 2 weeks. This only minor lowering might mean that there is still a more marginal growth to be made in the future. The SNV7 found a new high of 18.4 on the 26th and really demonstrates the flurry of trades and growth occurring on the server. Things are chaotic to say the least with such massive population and demand, and therefore the index will likely keep growing, but the market remains wary of upcoming changes with new realms and unpredictable market forces looming. That concludes Market Watch for today. Make sure to do your own research on superduperauctions.com for the most up-to-date prices and trends. Now let's get back to Vrograg in Everlook. There was, technically speaking, a changelog, but it was both small and irregular in that it came out on a Sunday rather than the traditional Tuesday at server reset. We received report that the irregular timing was due in part to much of the senior staff of Turtle being away for the week and doing things in the real life, whatever that means. However, it wouldn't be a broadcast if we didn't take a look at the changelog, so let's take a gander at the important notes with this Changelog Roundup. Curse of Exhaustion will now benefit from Amplify Curse as the tooltip indicates, and vanilla behavior once did. Tocopherolacerate reported on the bug tracker on GitHub, which according to Darabon was a known problem for vMango's core, which the server runs on. With a little dark magic, it looks like the problem was rectified by Gurky, and warlocks can go back to really slowing down their victims once more. There was a scripting fix to the Calling quest, which is a handy one for the adventurers hoping to plumb the depths of the temples of Anchorage, since the rewards are pants with a healthy amount of nature resistance on them. While I could not find any official bug report, the Calling quest turn-in is quite notorious for having a very long exposition cutscene with Geologist Larksbane. So if there was a bug with it, or if they shortened it, it would be a welcome comfort. The last note I'll touch on was worded this way: players for PvP inside dungeons, assisting group members, can no longer be flagged for PvP, which is a little hard to exactly understand. Does that mean flag players can't do dungeons with unflagged members? That doesn't sound right. I will ask more about this to get some more clarification, but if you experience or have bumped into something that sounds like this, or have an explanation, please share. Seems as if the development team might have taken a few drinks with them on their time off as well. That concludes the Changelog Roundup. Now let's switch over to our feature piece, which is a little bit of show and tell. As many of you know, I love getting involved with the community here on Turtle WoW when time permits. Some time ago, I was able to break a story about live radio coming to our server through a built-in add-on that was once part of the old vanilla codebase. Well, I have been doing some behind-the-scenes work with server management, developers, and Turtle WoW's finest talents to work on programming, voice acting, and planning for the release of the live radio. I have to say, there are some very talented people working on the project, from actual professional radio staff giving advice, to Turtle WoW composers making custom music just for broadcast, to comedic skits and lore-friendly commercials being written by staff, to yours truly just dropping in, looking around, and pretending to be important. Which brings me to why I am in Everlook. Everlook is the planned hub for radio broadcasts, and while I don't think the new patch needs any more hype, I am excited to reveal to you, my astute viewers, a look at Vrograg Fishlayer's first test broadcast I did from the Goblin City with heavy technical aid from Torta. The launch is kind of a big deal and worth talking about on the news. Is it just you who can hear me? I don't know who else can hear me. That's right, my voice was broadcast to like 3 people who might have been listening in on the PTR realm. I think radio will be a game changer, and this gives a window into the content going to be available to the citizens of Azeroth with the next patch. Not everything is changelogs, meta shifts, and class changes. Some content comes from places you might not expect, and I really hope you're just as enthused as I am at this prospect. For my part, I have been asked to do some live programming, which I still have yet to give Torta an actual plan for what I'd like to do with a whole hour-long segment, but since Turtle WoW News is a community-centric broadcast, I'd like to open the floor to the audience and ask what kind of broadcast would you like to hear from your reporter org? The only limit is my ability to write and plan, but I am open to suggestions. Once launch starts and the radio gets off the ground, there may also be opportunities for other community members to share their voice in radio broadcasts too. So if you have your own character, an ability to keep things family friendly, and a love for the server, consider brainstorming now. And maybe, who knows, I'll bump into you at the studio. That concludes the programming for the August 29th broadcast. Thank you for joining me. There will be plenty more content to come in videos here or perhaps in radio soon. If you'd like to reach me, you can find me at my various contacts listed in the comments below, in-game or out. I'm going to try and post my weekly schedule for content, be it videos or streaming here on the channel. I will be continuing my playthrough of the Onderon saga, which has been a lot of fun and includes my amateur voice acting attempts, as well as some friendly people from the classic Fire Emblem community. Make sure to tune in Wednesday afternoon and Saturday morning for that, but fear not, I'll still plan to do my weekly fish and chat to hang out with the community here on the server at noon. Every time I get summoned here, I always forget how chilly it can get. I'm going to head somewhere warm, or maybe beg a portal so I don't have to deal with windburn from flying through this chilly weather. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next broadcast. And as always, remember, the deadliest weapon is knowledge.